Hi there, everybody. Alyson Hemme here. So, I finished writing my code, and I even tried it on a particular query. I even put a little document together. What came back originally, I said, what is a hedge fund? And give me 130 million answers or something, or 1,000, whatever it was. And then I put my code in to the query, and it gave me 8. That's awesome. Moving on. I'm talking about this, which is what I was querying in the first place. Because something had popped up on my computer, and so I'm usually led in directions that I need to be. Fascinating fact, I was talking about the edge. I don't know if I started talking about that without recording it because I communicate with my computer all the time. So it knows where I'm coming from. And what I was talking about was being in the center is definitely not being in the edge. If you're riding the edge of things, just taking it as far as you can without going over, like these presidency thieves, accusing people of what they're totally guilty of and just trying to be the first one in line, first in time, creeps. If you're riding the edge, then you're not in the center. You're definitely not in the center. You're on the edge, right? So that's the bad place. That's definitely what we would call the gray area. Anyway, I had looked at this document. It was about APIs, and I was just reading into it, and it was like bada bada, talking about platforms and money, use cases for APIs, and like why the bankers really just don't want to let go of their power structure, right? Okay, so I ended up looking up a hedge fund. Something else brought me to looking that up. What is a hedge fund? I was reading something. It must have been on YouTube. Anyway, long story short, I typed in the phrase, give me an example of it. Anyway, what am I getting at? I just totally got distracted. Okay, I have known that the stock market is the creepy place where they've basically been trading on our value. We've heard about this whole thing, but like, yeah, but like where? Like, thanks for showing me this, that, the other, but where and how? Because the truth of the matter is that I can't go to an agency and say this and have them recognize what I'm talking about, which has had me in the place of, this is one of those secret worlds that they allow to happen. As a matter of fact, if you look it up, you'll find there's a whole lot of legislation put in place specifying the circumstances that they cannot get in trouble for their secret world. Insider secrets, trade secrets. Oh my gosh. What are you talking about? How can there be trade secrets? Well, what that indicates then is that your education doesn't come easily. I guarantee you they won't just let anybody join any school to study genetic science or to study finance. No. You don't just get... Same thing, probably you can't just become an appraiser either. I mean, you could take the class all you want, but you'll never become one unless someone passes down the torch to you. That's how intense the appraisal field is. Why? Because you make a lot of side money, making values what they want them to be. The whole world of secretive liars and creeps. What's a hedge fund? Well, let's listen to what they say first. Well, the first question was, are hedge funds eligible for PPP? What is it? The pandemic public-private partnership? Or the... I don't even know what the PPP stands for. The one with the epidemic. Because they got way too many acronyms now that means so many different things, it's just not even funny. Hello? Please? Q, come on. They're all, no. I don't want to answer that question. Well, come on, kitty cat. You do. All right. Fair enough. What? Did I break it? Come on, I didn't break it. Thank you. You know you love me and I love you too. What does PPP stand for? That's all. That's all I wanted to know. It's all, no, you're trying to get to something else. Okay, watch. Just this. PPP. Is that too hard? Paycheck Protection Program. Right. It's still thinking about it. It's all, which one do I pick? Which one do I pick? Right. What an uncomfortable position to put artificial intelligence in, which, by the way, I'm going to start calling something else. It's not artificial at all. Thanks for putting the computer in the position of having to explain why there's too many definitions for it. Yeah, Paycheck Protection Program, but it's also public-private partnership. So that's what I saw when I saw this. Are hedge funds eligible for PPP? Oh, you mean the public-private partnership? Listen to how they nicely tell the stupid layman in fancy, confusing, redirect you words so that way you don't keep going down that rabbit hole. Specifically, the Treasury has determined that hedge funds and private equity firms, right, aka hedge funds are private equity, are ineligible businesses for purposes of PPP. The final rule states that hedge funds and private equity firms are primarily engaged in investment for speculation, and such businesses are therefore ineligible to receive a PPP loan. In other words, sweetie, them hedge funds work in the private market, you understand? Them PPP loans are for your public. Meaning there is no public-private partnership. There is only the private purchasing the public. Why would the private want to purchase the public? I'll tell you why. Because they got to make sure that anything that leaks out gets handled in a fashion only the Securities Commission thugs can handle. You know, the real undercover black ops agents that no one ever talks about and no one ever hears of. Securities Commission agents. Hey, you know, if you're the kind of guy that sells technology on the black market, they're the ones that are going to buy it from you. Yeah, they're the ones that are dirty in the clean. The dirty of the clean. Yeah, so, yeah, the private's purchasing the public because they can. It's a corporate world. And they got, first of all, those countries with all these rights and civil human rights issues, those are like not profitable. You know, where can I factor in losses for human rights? Oh my gosh, can we deduct our losses from having to consider human rights from our taxes? That's funny. And they'd get it. They'd all, no, we really should. Bet you they've already figured that out. They called it something else. But yeah. So there you go. First of all, hedge funds, private, yeah, PPP is just for those public people. And then let's see what else it says. What trading software do hedge funds use? Trading software, right? Right, like, why wouldn't they use the same trading software that everybody else does? Oh, well, you know why, because, well, it says most hedge funds want to use, this is the answer. What trading software? Most hedge funds want to use multiple counterparties. So they would want a broker-neutral trading system. In other words, the hedge funds want to use multiple counterparties. Meaning those are people that sleep around. I guarantee you we're going to get to something like that. Hedge funds are going to end up being wild card women because they're haters. And they don't think men do anything wrong. They're allowed to spread their seed. Remember, the Bible said that they could. But those bitches, they're supposed to be virgins when you get them, and they're supposed to be yours forever. So it's those wanting to use multiple counterparties. So most hedge funds use multiple counterparties. So hedge fund software would want to use a broker-neutral trading system, meaning somebody that knows how to get along with those people that sleep around that also know how to speak our language. You're neutral to it. You know, you're not trying to... You're broker-neutral. What's broker-neutral mean? And this is anyway, I burned myself. And it splashed on me, and now it went little, you know, what do you call them? You know, those little, you know, and it's got water inside of it, and it's like you get one of them, and anyway. Do not have a disease here. It's just what it is. Broker neutral means the trading system is provided by an independent vendor that will connect to any broker that you require. You are their client, and they are not affiliated or loyal to a specific broker. Meaning the trading system is provided by an independent vendor. Oh, because they had to add the word neutral to it to define what would happen if you are in fact open to everybody, because broker in and of itself must what? Insinuate that you're not neutral. See how you figure out things? You just learn how to break it down. You had to add the word neutral so I knew that they were, meaning when I don't use the word neutral, then they're not. So if I say I'm with ABC Broker, they already know if you're Republican or Democrat, proverbially speaking. So let me write that down, just so that I can follow up on that later. What are you talking about? Well, apparently there's a politics of finance. Politics of finance. When your broker, when a broker is not broker neutral. Fascinating. Okay, moving on. As I said, so it says, so they would want to use broker neutral trading system. As far as I'm aware, the most popular platforms are Portware and FlexTrade. Ooh, common trading systems for hedge fund automated. Automated? Well, how do hedge funds affect the stock market? Right? How do they answer that question if you're not actually trading shares of stock on paper for a business that makes profit, right? These other funds that basically is predictions on the value of people, aka a market where you sign somebody up that's a wild card woman, which is what my prediction is that they're going to be targeting, especially women, but these days anybody qualifies for it, but this is people. They're betting on people, and it starts at the top families and their own undesirables, because they got to get them out of those trusts. Remember, they all made mergers and stuff that their grandparents didn't want, because those grandparents were the ones who were smart enough to come up with the money. These guys are the greedy little spoiled brats that are like, whatever they said, we got to change that. Okay, anyway, that's how it starts. So they're trading on them. So they're like this, oh, she's an unperforming asset. Well, we should knock her down. Knock down, that's what the genetic science is talking about. Yeah, so this is the system of, well, how would we do that? We just need to make it done. We got to get it done. I don't want to have him killed. God, no, that's be cold-hearted. No, just do it slowly. So in other words, instead of murder, I'm more of an advocate for torture. Torture leads to murder. See, I'm not a murderer. No, just slow, painful, squeezing the life force out of them. That's how you get the most profit. Why would you kill him? My God, we could make a whole financial system. We could bet on it all day long and be like, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, I think they're going to pull out of it. Oh, yeah, right. This person's down for the count. Oh, yeah, how much you want to make a bet? Right? Where the wild card win would be pulling out of certain death. This girl right here. Anyway, don't get me started. I'm totally in my zone. That's all I can say is that I'm finding the information that is applicable to my circumstance where they're trading for people. But how would you do that? How would you put them in circumstances in order for you to monitor it from afar, so that way we could all watch these things go, which we can watch. How do we watch the game? Well, you're going to go to their genetic, you're going to get the code that I give you, and then you're going to go to their genetic science profile, which is going to talk about their genes on a certain chromosome, which is in fact giving you the station to log into, tune into for their indoor surveillance webcam that is all their devices that you, and only you on the black market, deep secret underground world of the top dog finance, dirty bastards, get to watch. This is the next level. After pedophilia, once they already did that, they had to find new stuff. That's how they're having to find new highs. Well, that is voyeurism. Surveillance cams, when nobody knows, and you're picking your nose, and you're farting, and you're having sex, and you're picking your face, doing drugs, anything that they want to see, they're all and then they get to actually bet on it. But let me tell you something that goes on hand in hand with that game. Somebody that really wants to win the bet just makes sure that he pays for that person to make sure they get killed. Because that's the low odds. Of course, I'm going to bet that they're going to die. That's what the odds are. That the situation's going to kill them, right? I mean, it's only a rare situation where this hedge fund well, and they're probably going to pull out of it, right? So your ability to know a hedge fund has a lot to do with, just like football and strategy. Your knowledge of the game, well, don't jump in to the water unless you're familiar with swimming with sharks. Okay, so what they do is they got to have people, crisis cast actors that are there to try to cause you frustration. And usually they're going, what the fuck is going on? There's something weird going on. Everybody's acting all funny and trying to do stuff and trying to cause stuff. Well, guess what? Those guys are getting a little side buck. Well, whatever they want. Side bucks and drugs, getting out of jail, whatever the case may be. But we'll also keep the card open that if we ever call and ask for anything, they better deliver. And these people are all under the soul contract with the devil. Who's the devil? The white collar guy that's driving a nice Porsche, lives in Laguna Niguel, and makes you think he's just the nicest guy, and why he would never do anything like that. He just goes to work every day. He's a financier. Right, Rue. Yeah, and underneath his suit are two horns. Yeah, the guy who actually's got the tattoos and the piercings, wears black all day long, and even eyeliner, listens to death metal. That guy's a lot nicer than the white-collar criminal I'm talking about. That guy would actually probably help you. That guy's probably a vegan. I mean, I'm not kidding you, but I'm telling you the truth. More often than not, the people that looked like that were the ones trying to send the message, leave me alone, stop messing with me, it hurts me and I hate it. Okay? The people that show up like nice looking, just sweet as apple pie are the liars and the creeps, okay? That's the world we're dealing with. So, back to what I was saying. Well, how do hedge funds affect the stock market? Well, that's a stupid question, not you, Q, but in other words, why would somebody know to ask that question? Because I'm led to believe a hedge fund is similar to other stocks. So I'm already assuming that hedge funds affect the stock market. I thought that that's where they're traded. They're not traded on the stock market. Where are they traded? That's the trading software they were talking about. Oh, it's also not even the stock market. That's right. Public, private. Got it. That's why it's... I thought you guys were merging, you know, like, let's hold hands and all get along. We'll share our money and you can get better. Get better for us and for all of us. No, they're health and safety first because they're like, get those dirty people away from me. Get those homeless people off of our streets. Oh my God, don't stand next to me. Don't talk to me. Your breath, you could kill me. Why? Because you want to live forever? Because you stole money? You want to live forever because you're a greedy fucking bitch? You stole money. You married for money. Money, 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 money. You're abusing your kids because of money. You're neglecting your life and your children because of money. I hope you're happy when you're left with nothing. What's that? Dropped off in the central sun, incinerated. Bye-bye. Start it all over again. Good luck next time. See ya. Not gonna miss ya. But, yeah. Let me answer that. Let me see what it says. How do they affect the stock market? Well, these hedge funds, right? Well, by reducing risk... Hedge funds lower stock market volatility. In other words, you see, when we bet in the hedge fund market, what we're doing is we're trying to correct these people's ways. We're trying to steer them in the right direction, get them to learn how to cooperate. We don't want them thinking for themselves, coming up with their own ideas. Remember, these people use multiple counterparties. Okay, they're out of their minds. Those whores, I meant hedge funds. Hell's edge funds. So by reducing risk, that's how they affect the stock market. We bet on their futures. That's what they call them, futures. They don't want you to hear the word hedge fund too often, then you'll look into it. Call them futures. 4X trading. 4X, exactly like 4 used to be. Yep, they used to be around. Yeah, for them. For the used to be arounders. Thank you guys so much. Let's raise our glasses. For the used to livers. 4X. They love divorce. It's one of their favorite markets. Right? That's when you come in for the swift swoop and people are like, my God, that divorce was something else. Nice work. That's really what's going on. Oh, you handled that child custody thieving real well. Yeah, you got the first in line, first in time? Yeah, I told you every time. That's the one. Do it first. You gotta have balls to do it first. Most people don't want to do that shit. Unless you're a criminal. And you're not scared of going to jail. You've been there, done that. Anyway, don't get me started. So by reducing risk, that's why, look, we're trying to get them to learn to cooperate. So we're just trying to make their lives better. How do you do that? Well, we take away things that matter to them so they can learn their lesson. We force them into a little bit of tough stuff, like maybe losing some stuff. Sometimes you have to lose things to learn how to appreciate it. Really, can't wait for you to have to taste your own medicine. Go on. Well, then, a lot of times they have to just learn to be a nice person. Well, maybe you're just going to have to learn to be nice. Say, I'm so sorry for everything I've done. Is there anything I can do to make it better? And then we're like, well, maybe you need to go to some training. AA, drug addiction, I'm mentally abusive, something's wrong with my brain. Just go over there to that medical center, have them tell you what's wrong with you. I'm sure there's tons of stuff they can find. Trust me, they've got the whole industry set up to find stuff that's wrong with you. It'll be a long list. Expect it. A doctor giving a clean bill of health is a joke. It never happened. Doctors aren't around for that reason. Anyhow, I digress, as I was saying. They're just trying to make you better. So they're basically trying to prove to you that when you think for yourself, hun, you get yourself in trouble. That's wild card thinking. No. There's game plans and cooperation you have to do. You got married, right? Right after high school, you didn't. Oh, well, that's the reason, babe. You didn't get married. And how old were you when the targeting started? 30? Oh, of course, because they're 30-year notes. Yeah, they gotta do something with you by then. That's all. It's just Your trustee is just good at what he does, honey. He's just right on time. Oh, yeah. Finding that out the hard way. So they believe that what they're doing is not only creating a financial market for them, to give them incentive to waste their time on these wild card losers. They call them undesirables. But at the same time, they realize that, you know, in one sense, it's fulfilling their obligation. Like when you take them to court to try to be like, you breached the trust, you breached your fiduciary obligation. The guy's like, go ahead, take me to court. And then you're like, Judge, I want you to hear my story. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, tell your story a bit. Afterwards, we'll talk on the side, right? Right, Judge? And the judge is all, of course. And then they have a conversation, whatever it was. He comes back, and next thing you know, you're going to jail and you're in bankruptcy. Yeah, all I know is that whatever happens in the chambers is fucking real convincing, and deals get made, and it's bullshit. Again, it's a corrupt system. So that's how they believe they're reducing risk by lowering stock market volatility. What's the stock market? People. The market of stock. You flesh and blood pods of doers, and as often as we can prevent you thinkers, right? That's, woo, you don't want a slave with a mind of his own. Certainly don't want him reading and writing. God, no. Hell. Next thing you know, he'll be writing his little SOS. Come help me. They're torturing me. You don't want anybody saying that out loud. God, no. You can always explain the screams. That's disgusting. So it says many hedge funds are very active investors. What? Many hedge funds are very active investors. That says it right there. Since when does a stock that I purchase on paper of a company that's going to profit so that it'll end up in my bank account, since when is my specific investment of an active investor? No, that's a double negative. You can't. An investment can't be an investor. It is an investment. It said it already. So you're already coming up with more bullshit, because they're talking about people. Of course, it says, how do hedge funds affect the stock market? Well, they affect it in a big way. They are the stock market, but they're not going to tell you that. No. By reducing risk, hedge funds lower stock market volatility. Wait, it almost sounds like it could be saying, by reducing risk, hedge funds lower stock market volatility. Oh, there you go. By reducing risk of them, hedge funds end up lowering stock market volatility, right? That's what I'm saying. We don't want all this willy-nilly wild card, anything can happen at any time. We want to know what to expect. We want to control the hedge funds. Many hedge funds are very active investors. Yeah, they're out there in the real world. Yeah, some of them are bankers and all that stuff. They buy enough shares to get a vote on the company's board. They have such an influence on that company's stock that they can force the company to buy back stock and improve share prices. Wait a minute. Many hedge funds are very active investors. By reducing risk, hedge funds. I get it. Hedge funds, meaning the people who manage the people. That's what it is. Managers of the people. This is the market of the people that manage the targeting. Well, of course, they've got to have some kind of, that makes sense. They've got to have some kind of benefit to it too. They're not going to be able to keep everybody in the dark. As a matter of fact, this is one of those dangerous areas of letting them know what you know, letting them know enough about what's going on without making them want to be you. You want them to be happy in their job and stay there, because you don't want to have to tell somebody else the secret and cross your fingers that they will go, yeah, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And then you never hear from them again. And they're telling on you on the news the next morning, right? No. So hedge funds must be the ones who take hell to the edge, the people directing those shows, the trustees. Yay, it's a new financial market for them, because otherwise they used to just be brokers. No, they're hedge funds. I'm getting it now. Well, we just learned about it. Otherwise you're a broker, so you're political, right? You're a broker. You're just, I guess, if you're broker neutral, you will work with anybody, and they'll be your client. That's what we heard. Brokers are clients. Brokers are not powerful people, and those money men are sick and tired of being called someone's employee. Yeah, that's why all this talk of the public makes them sick. They don't want to be anybody's employee, let alone broker. Nobody likes brokers, right? So we'll call you a hedge fund, right? People, what people do love though is money, funds. People love funds. Why don't we make ourselves a fund? Oh, okay, because look, it says something like, how much money has been invested? How much money's been invested in these portwear? It was all Zero. No money's been invested. Raised, capital raised. They haven't raised any. They have 140 employees. Really? The whole hedge fund? Or is that Portware they were talking about? Anyhow, you see where I'm going with this. And this is the one other question I wanted to read out loud because I could go on for days. I just want to keep it simple, but this tells you a whole lot. Well, what investment category do most hedge fund strategies, right? Because we know a hedge fund is in fact an advisor who uses a strategy. And we're still not talking about actual stock that you can buy on paper per share to equal profit, hopefully, and not losses. What investment category do most hedge fund strategies utilize? What investment category do they write it off under? Gotcha. Well, credit. Capital structure arbitrage. Similar to event-driven trades, right? Like those futures. Also underlies most hedge fund credit strategies. Managers, which they just said it right there, look for a relative value, wink wink, between the senior and junior securities of the same corporate issuer. Right, kind of like my mom was a wild card, so you guys already knew that her kid would most likely be one, so it was automatically signed up. Get rid of one, get rid of them all. Right? All I can say right now is this. Respectable men, bullshit. And I believe you were taught by your father, my grandfather, Thomas. You all will be ashamed of yourselves. Thomas, Frederick, and William. You three men make me sick to my stomach. You guys shame the name of your father's legacy, Coleman. You will be, this violence and fraud will be rectified. You will be held accountable. I will get those numbers and those words and those paperworks and the future legacy of my children and my cousins' children and their children thereafter. Just because I've got my own enterprise and my own legacy to begin does not mean I will leave this one smelt, broken. I will rectify those matters. And if I have my way, you will be in jail. That's right, son. Hand over the keys to Costa Rica. Freddie, that's my blood money. Hand it over. Here's the keys to your new... Oh, you don't need them. Where you're going. Yeah. And then you get to sit there with a beard, eating bullshit, feeling like crap, not getting to look out the window and going, how did I? How did you? You didn't think during your lifetime while you were living it better than everybody else and just pretending it wasn't happening? That there was no risk involved? Come on. Don't beat yourself up, sweetheart. You knew it was coming. Deep down inside you did, didn't you? And that's the best I can do for you. Gotta go. I want to take a deep breath now and not have to worry about that bullshit for the rest of the night. But what that was doing was to keep me raring to go. Let me tell you something. My voice, my loudness, my anger. You want to know what that's coming from? Not hate. Listen to her. She's so mad and angry. Those are the liars again. You want to know what anger and all this is? Truth. You know what truth is? Yeah. Truth doesn't come in a pretty package, and it doesn't have to be, socially polite. Social politeness is another way of saying everybody's a creep, everybody's violating people out behind their closed doors, and nobody asks any questions. Listen, guys, if that's the world you want to create, do us all a favor then, and at least just say it out loud and have some guts to represent who you are and what you're up to. There's no valor in your lies and hiding and schemes. What, if you guys aren't doing anything wrong, what's there got to be any secrets for? On its face, it proves fraud. And that's exactly how I'm going to get y'all. Because I got some galactic family that are going to make sure that you understand that what I'm saying is the New Deal. And, I send it off with light of love because there are generations after generations after generation of children that were raised around a barbarian that somehow made sure to intimidate them into knowing that they're to listen to that man and they're to do as they're told. So that way, long enough, 10 years, 15 years of that, you're programmed out of yourself. By the time you get to 18, you're ready to go get married and start a family and do it to them. You don't even think twice about it. It's just normal for you. It's your new normal. So who do I blame? My uncles? Do I blame my grandfather? Well, can I... Well, did his father do it to him? He seems like he's the good guy. How do I know? These are too many generations removed. He got it from somewhere. And if that somewhere was the military, the point I'm making is it was the era. Generations have gone through this fluctuation, and it's time to make it all go away, which requires that everybody gets a second chance. And because that's the truth is why I just got that off my chest, Uncle Billy and Uncle Freddie. If I can have my way, though, you will go to jail. You'll have to pay your price. Doesn't mean you're going to get hung. Even these... Don't ask me. I'm not the one in charge of that. I don't decide on the judgment. I'm sitting here, the auditor. But yeah, the world is full of people that you want to call things on paper. You want to bet on the viability of it. And you guys are just wrong in the first place, second place, third place. I'm going to prove how you guys not only are the problem, you created the problem.